Hi guys, so this is going to be my second video today, and instead of doing something about current events or something like that, I want to do a video talking about the Religion of Statism Part 1, Original Sin. I kind of started thinking about this because I saw a tweet about the Purge, and I tweeted out that the premise of the Purge is basically original sin applied to statism, and I want to explain that, I want to broaden that concept, I want to further it for you. So, we've already discussed in my previous videos how the very idea, the very concept of the legitimacy of government power is centered around the fact that the government is the government. It's circular reasoning. There is no other reason why the government has power except that the government, by definition, has power. That, in and of itself, makes statism a religion. It makes it a religious ideology. So I want to expand into the theology of statism, if you will, and talk about statism's version of original sin. Now, for those of you who don't know, original sin is a biblical doctrine that states that everyone who is born is inherently sinful, regardless of action, and that they must submit to the authority of God and accept Christ's death on the cross in order to have this inherent sinfulness taken away from them. Or not really, well, most theologians would argue the sinfulness still exists, but that Christ covers that sin. The very same doctrine exists within the government. The government's version of original sin is basically this: that without government being over you, without the taxes you pay, without the sacrifices that you make, that's part of the difference between this and the Christian doctrine. Statism is about the sacrifice you make. Without the sacrifices that you make, without us ruling over you, people would all go crazy and become chaotic and kill each other and murder each other and rape each other, and that everything would just go to complete crap if the government wasn't involved. If we didn't have government ruling over us, people would go crazy because that's just inherent. All of us are just a bunch of crazy monsters, and that is the version of original sin that is purveyed by the government. It's purveyed by Hollywood, and it's purveyed in movies like The Purge, which the premise of The Purge is basically just there's a day in which everyone can break the law as much as they want, and so everyone just goes like batshit crazy. Normally good people just go batshit crazy. Okay, that's basically the concept of the Purge. So I want to sort of explain the fault in this kind of concept, this concept of original sin applied to statism, is that when you actually look at what people do in their day-to-day interactions, there really is only a very small percentage of people that are crazy or that are murderous or that are rapists and any of these kind of things. And these are all psychological. These are psychological disorders, or they're in the mind. And there's just psychological proof and evidence of this, that inherently in people's minds, people are wired that way or not wired that way. Now, they can be molded by environment, but the state itself, the existence of state power, does not prevent those things. And on top of that, the government doesn't do a very good job of protecting people. We've talked about police response times. We've talked about how the purpose of the military is not for your protection, but the purpose of the military is for the upholding of state power. So, this idea that in an anarcho-capitalist society that people would just go crazy, or in any anarchist society, is just false. If you look at countries that have been temporarily, definitely not capitalist, but stateless, like you look at Somalia and these places, yeah, there's strife, there's warlords, but most of the bloodshed that's going on is going on under the behalf of rulers vying for power in the power vacuum. People who were good people are not suddenly becoming rapists, becoming murderers. So this is just going to be a short video, but I just want you guys to really keep in mind that statism is a religion. It has a government, whose authority is derived solely by its own definition, which is circular reasoning, and that there is a doctrine of original sin that without them that you would be a bad person, which is false. So I just want to point that out, and that's part one of going into the doctrine of the religion of statism, and thank you for listening.